Trees are very low. Yeah, they're.
You guys all ready?
Yep.
Wait for a few more to final in. Okay, with that, we welcome you to the Michigan Wolverines press conference on this lovely Thursday morning we're having in South Bend. A few housekeeping notes before we get things started. Just a reminder to please silence all cell phones throughout the course of the press conference. Please provide your name and your media affiliation prior to asking a question as well. Thank you to everybody joining us in person as well as on Zoom. If you're on Zoom, just use the raise your hand function. We will get those questions after we get to the questions in person. Photographs are totally cool, just please no flash photography inside. And then lastly, recording the press conference via your camera or phone is prohibited. So with that said, we welcome in our student athletes. Thank you so much for joining us. Jordan Hobbs, Olivia Olson, and Silas Swords. And we'll open up the floor to questions for the student athletes now.
Jordan Klein, Michigan Daily. This can be for any of you guys. What was the feeling to hear your name come across that screen Sunday night and find out for good that you'd be playing in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, it was really special for me, especially coming from where I'm from in Canada, Northern Ontario. I'd always watched March Madness online, on TV, but never really thought about the fact that I could be playing in it. And then finally hearing our name called, different position than what Michigan was in last year, but you still feel the butterflies in your stomach. You still feel nervous to see what your bracket's going to be, but to know that, yeah, I'm going to be playing in March Madness, Michigan's going to be playing in March Madness, it's really exciting.
Yeah, I'd say it's a little bit more of a familiar feeling for me, but still just as exciting. I feel like every time a 6 or 7 seed was about to be called, which is where we kind of knew we would fall, my heart started racing and was just excited to see where we would land. And it's so special seeing your name up there on the screen and then seeing the video of us get excited and jump up and down. So very, very cool.
Alina Levine, Michigan Daily. For Sila and Olivia, it's your first March Madness tournament. For Jordan, it's kind of your last. I was wondering what are the emotions you're feeling right now as you prepare to play?
I'm just really excited, and kind of like Sai said when we saw our name up there, like you dream of it as a kid, and so you never really know what to expect until you're in the position. But I'm just really excited to be here. I love our team, and I think we have a lot to prove to people, and so we're just going to take it kind of day by day and throw our best shot out.
I mean, anything can happen in March. Ultimately, that's what you prepare for through the whole year, is to get to the March Madness tournament and see what you can do. So it's just really exciting to be here.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's my last go-around. Definitely have felt the emotions a little bit. I feel like after the Big Ten tournament, it kind of hit me that it was my last Big Ten tournament and won't have a chance to compete for that anymore. But now going into this, I'm just excited to see how far we can make it, excited to make a run. I think we can be competitive with anyone in this tournament, so we'll see how we come out tomorrow and just, again, really excited.
Hi, Maggie Hendricks with Yahoo Sports. Sila, my question's for you. Obviously, you've played in some pretty big games last August. How do you think that the Olympic experience prepared you for this?
Yeah, if anything, it's taught me that every game matters, whether you're playing, a high school game, March Madness game, Olympic qualifying game. Any game, anyone could come out and do something big, and you really just have to be appreciative for every opportunity that you get. But at the same time, just trusting that I've put myself in so many situations where I failed and I've come back stronger than that, and knowing that I've put the time in to be able to come through in big moments.
Caitlin Urca, ESPN. Jordan, this one's for you. What did you learn from last year's experience and that heartbreaking loss? You guys had the lead for the majority of the fourth quarter. What are you able to take away, and what can you share with this young freshman group to help them in this first round?
Yeah, I feel like last year was the first time I realized it's like win or go home. And I kind of took for granted the ability to win the first round game, because it just came easy the first 2 years, like we won by 15 points or so each time. And last year was just kind of a shock when we left USC and we left on a loss and had to fly home right away. And I think what I would tell them is just like it really is day by day, and you have to approach each game with a fierceness and a competitiveness, because everybody is coming for you in March. It doesn't matter their seeding. And it really is win or go home. Like, we could be on a bus tomorrow night back to Ann Arbor, and I could never play another game of basketball. So I think that's really the story at the end of the day.
And then for all of you guys, the fact that this is in South Bend and it has a nice proximity to Ann Arbor, how many of you will have family in attendance, and does that kind of give you, and friends too, for that matter, family can often travel, but it's a lot of times friends or fellow students that get to make the trip when it's in closer proximity. And how does that give you a little extra boost for the game?
Yeah, the Michigan fan base has been amazing for us this whole year. We've had great turnouts for a lot of big games, and that just really helps us on the court, our support, knowing that we have a community behind us, a great community of people that is Ann Arbor, and something that I think Liv and I have come to know and Jordan's been aware of with her 4 years of being here. But it's really special. It's an advantage for sure. Me personally, my family's going to be here, and they haven't been able to get to a lot of games, so it's just something special that reminds you, like, yeah, I'm playing the game, but I'm also doing it for my family. We're doing it for our people back in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, I think it gives us a little bit of familiarity, being able to go play and have a lot of our friends and family here. I think some of our friends are driving up too, and so just being able to play in front of our friends and family, just like we would at home, means a lot, and especially for our first experience in March Madness. And I know Jay's parents have been to almost every game too, but our parents wouldn't miss it, so we're just really excited to compete and get started.
Yeah, I mean, my parents would have flown anywhere in the country, but now my aunts and uncles get to come, and I know some of our managers and friends are coming. So it's really exciting. I think the best part was that we were able to take a bus and didn't have to get on a plane. But it's great to be so close to home for me in Ohio, and get to see a lot of familiar faces in the crowd.
Jordan, you're likely going to draw the Audie Crooks matchup at points in tomorrow's game. How are you preparing for that?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to grit. Obviously, she's bigger and stronger than a lot of the girls on our team, but she probably also hasn't had to go against a guard matchup. And offensively for us, we have a mismatch as well, just as they do down low. So I think it'll be really interesting, but I'm excited for the challenge, and I know Greta's excited too. So we'll see how it goes, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to who wants it more.
Any other questions for our student athletes?
This is really for any of you guys. How did you guys approach this week of practice, not knowing who you'd be playing until last night?
We kind of scouted for both teams, Princeton and Iowa State, just throughout practices, mixing it up just so we got our mind right for both situations, watched film for both, and so then we got to attend the game yesterday, and now we get to kind of hone in on Iowa State and their personnel, but it was nice to already have a familiar, know to what they're going to do, and we have a good grasp on it.
I'd say also earlier this season, I mean, we played Virginia Tech in Florida and had a one-day prep, and then for the Big Ten tournament, we didn't know if we were going to play Minnesota or Washington. So I think just getting put in those positions helped us with this matchup.
Yeah, and then on top of that, being able to build on ourselves and focus on ourselves and what we need to improve on, because in this season you're playing so many games, you're so focused on scout that it's been really nice to have these 2 weeks to really just do Michigan basketball and improve on what makes us good.
I'm curious, and for all of you, if you have a preference, coming off the Big Ten tournament and having this kind of downtime to maybe rest and recover versus the adrenaline that comes with getting right back into playing a game, do you find that to be advantageous, or would you have preferred to have a game, kind of in between to just keep that energy up? And do you think it's going to take you guys a minute to get into it come tomorrow, or have the practices been intense and you think you're ready to go?
I mean, I always want to be competing in games, but I think our practices emulate it just as well as games, and I think Coach has done a great job of making them super intense, so we're ready to play. I think we play our best basketball when our practices are really hard, and I think Coach has done a great job of that the last week and a half to get us prepared for this game tomorrow.
I would agree.
Anybody else? Okay. Oh.
Matt Park, Michigan Radio. Jordan, this is for you. At the start of the year, I think there was a feeling that we didn't know what Michigan was going to be. Tell me about how this season has gone from your perspective and what you've seen in this program, and especially the young ladies to your right, the freshmen, and what they've done as you guys have gone on this journey this year.
Yeah, I mean, no one can really expect anything out of freshmen just because it's such a new game, and high school is so different from college. And Coach says it all the time, like, we're not in high school anymore. We're not in high school anymore. In October, like she's saying that over and over. But I remember when those two came in, and Mila, and even Taylor and AD, and I just saw something different in them. Sila came in late, not in the summer, and we went to play at the IM, the intramural building, and I was like, oh my gosh, like she's a born leader. She's already talking. She's already so mature, and Liv in open gyms was just so mature for her age and like making reads that I haven't seen out of freshmen ever in my life, whether I'm playing against them or playing with them. So their ability to come in and just have confidence has been something that has been incredibly important for our team. And in the beginning of this year, like nobody thought we would get back here. And the four of us who returned last year were like, we want to get back to March Madness. Like we want to get back to that stage. And last year we were a 9 seed and we're coming back as a 6 seed and having a better year than we did last year. No one thought that would be the case. And I think about the South Carolina game all the time and how everyone thought we would get blown out by 20. Like the odds in Vegas were literally a 20-point game, and we cut it to, it was like 3. So obviously we wanted to win that, but that kind of set the tone for our season and gave us confidence that we could really play with anybody. And I just think we're ready and poised to go out there and show what we're capable of.
One of the things that jumps off the tape to me that's really impressive is the chemistry that this team has, especially for being so young. So I'm curious, is there something that you guys have done off the court that has really helped enhance that? Or is there something just maybe that's bonded you guys just from being so young, all coming in together? I'm curious what has really helped let you click so early on.
I just think our team kind of just shows a representation of who Coach recruits and the kind of people she brings in and who Michigan is. And we are so young, but we're all so close. And we had one weekend where we went to Macy Brown's cabin, and I think that really bonded us all, like off the court. It was in the summer, and so. But again, I just think it shows the kind of person Coach is and who she wants to bring in and how competitive we all are. But also, like, we all love each other and we're each other's best friends. So I think that has shown throughout the season on the court as well.
Yeah, and I think also everything that happened in the transition from last season to this one, and Jordan touched on it, was just us showing our trust in Coach and the program that she's made. And that's something that we were all able to bond over immediately from getting here. The freshmen, we had our talks with her, and that's why we committed to the program. Jordan, I remember once the transfer portal opened, she called us both immediately to tell us that, no, Coach Rico is the real deal, and this is someone you want to be around to learn for the next 4 years. And I think that all of us just trusting in that and blocking out the outside noise of people saying, yeah, like there's only 4 returners. Yeah, there's 5 freshmen, and just really buying into what Coach Rico has set and buying into what the Michigan women's basketball program has allowed us to buy into anything and allowed us to bond really quickly.
Coach is tearing up over there.
Any other questions? Okay. Ladies, thank you so much. To Jordan, to Olivia, and to Sila.
How you doing? Good, thank you.
And with that, we're joined by Michigan head coach Kim Barnes-Arico. And Coach, if you want to make an opening statement first before we get to some questions.
Well, it's great to be in South Bend. It's great to be playing in the NCAA tournament. Obviously, this is what we look forward to every single year. We're trying to flip this a little bit like the Big Ten tournament. It is the first time we've had to take a bus. We're close. So we're trying to, 2 weeks ago we did the same thing in Indianapolis, and we had to play an opponent that was playing the day before in Minnesota and Washington. So we're trying to use this game as the same type of situation. We were able to get here yesterday. We were able to watch the game. Obviously, both of those teams are exceptional, Princeton and Iowa State. It was a great basketball game. We know our hands are going to be full. We're reading everything on social media. We know how good Audie Crooks is. We know how good Brown is. We know how experienced their point guard is. So they're just a great team, and it will be a tremendous contest for us tomorrow.
Thank you, Coach. And with that, we open up the floor to questions.
Hi, Elena Levine, Michigan Daily. I guess kind of starting out with a broad question. I know the players touched on this, but coming to the season, it was kind of unsure where Michigan was going to go. Young team, a lot of transfer portal additions. Now kind of at the end of the season, at March Madness, 6th seed. Could you reflect back on the season and talk about kind of just your emotions?
Yeah. I mean, it was great to hear their perspective and what our student athletes have to say, because at the end of the day, that's why we all coach, and that's why you get into the business. So it was really nice to be able to hear what they had to say and their perspective on the situation. There were a lot of unknowns, obviously, coming into the season, a ton of unknowns, but our leadership from Jordan and Greta and Alyssa Crockett and Macy Brown kind of never wavered. And you guys have heard the story countless times, probably at most press conferences. So I think it starts with that group of four. We had 4 players returning. I mean, that's pretty incredible, one of which played more than 10 minutes a game. So if anybody thought we would be here, I don't think that's the case. But when you add that kind of perseverance, and we always say at Michigan, those who stay will be champions. Well, if you follow, Jordan Hobbs' career, and she didn't play her first 2 years, and then the impact she made last year and what she's been able to do this year, I mean, that just speaks volumes to the type of players and people that we have in our program. And then you add what Greta has been able to achieve this year. She came to see me at the end of last year and said, Coach, I'll do whatever. I don't care what it is. Whatever Michigan needs for us to be successful, I'll do it. Well, this year she's had to guard the other team's 5. And I know tomorrow that's a big challenge, but she's also had to do it against, Sienna Betts and Ray Marshall, and, you can go down the line. That has hopefully given her some preparation for tomorrow. And then you add the freshman class. I mean, golly, we're, the only team in the country that starts 3 freshmen. We're the only team in the country that plays 3 freshmen this many minutes per game. I know we always talk about Liv and Sila, and as you heard from the press conference, they're mature beyond their years, and what they have given to our program has been absolutely incredible. But there's 3 others, and they've meant as much to this program as those 2 have, and I know they would say the same thing. And one is Mila Holloway. A point guard position is one of the most challenging in the game, and it's something that your program needs to be successful. And Iowa State has Emily Ryan, who's a great floor general. But when you have those type of expectations for a freshman, you never know what that's going to be, and that could result in a lot of ups and downs. I mean, Mila Holloway has been extremely, extremely level and balanced and tremendous for us all year long. She's kind of studied this ship, and you need that from that position. And then Tayala and AD, today's AD's birthday, and I don't think there's anyone more excited than, those two that were sitting next to us. Silas Swartz comes in every day and reminds me, Coach, this is the greatest freshman class ever. I love my teammates. I love every one of them. So Tayala has given us a great spark. I think she's going to be a phenomenal player moving forward. But that freshman class has really steadied the ship, and for us to be in the position that we are is tremendous. But like Jordan said, we're just not happy to be here. We were really, disappointed last year in that first round loss, and we know our hands are full. But I told them earlier this week before the seeding came out that our name has shown up on that board, and every time I've been to the NCAA tournament, which has probably been about 20, I've never gone, oh, we got an easy first round game. I've always gone, oh my gosh, we have the hardest game in the whole entire bracket. And I feel that way about tomorrow. But that's kind of the coach in me. And, we'll see what happens tomorrow. But excited about this team. Really feel fortunate to have had the season that we've had.
Jordan Klein, Michigan Daily. Kim, your freshmen have been great in big games all year, but obviously there's always a bit of extra juice heading into the NCAA tournament. How have you worked to prepare your freshmen for tomorrow's game?
Yeah, I mean, I just think, they are so competitive. For them, it's another game. For them, this is what they've prepared their whole life for. At the end of last year when we had 4 returners, I remember the South Carolina game was scheduled, and I called Sila, and I'm like, we got to play South Carolina to open season, the coach and me. She's like, well, that's great, Coach. That's what I want. I can't wait to play South Carolina. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, let's go. So I think, for me, I'm like, oh, gosh, this is the South Carolina. This is the, Big Ten tournament. This is the NCAA tournament. There's always – how are the kids going to respond? But for them, it's like, this is why we came here, Coach. We want to compete against the best. We want to challenge ourselves against the best. It doesn't mean they won't be nervous. It doesn't mean they won't have butterflies. But they've prepared, like Sila alluded to, they've prepared their whole lives for moments like these.
Hi, Maggie Hendricks with Yahoo Sports. When you heard them up here talking about how hard they worked to make sure they would have a bond, I mean, what does that say to you as a coach? You know that they're putting in this kind of work.
No, I mean, there's so much, obviously, I don't consider myself, super emotional or to sit in a press conference and bring tears to my eyes, but having the opportunity to hear them and listen to what they had to say was really impactful. And they work hard at everything they do. It's kind of the Michigan difference. That's what we say at Michigan. It's the Michigan difference. They're driven. They're driven at a high level, but they're not driven at a high level just on the basketball court. They're driven at a high level in the classroom. They're driven at a high level as people. And they know that chemistry is important. They know that leadership is important. And they know those things are difference makers in the game. And Jordan has showed them that the whole entire season. And they're natural. They're natural at what they do, but it's great when they have people ahead of them that are in the same positions to show them what it takes. And I think somebody asked the question, but our chemistry, and it's the way that we share the basketball. It's the way that we play the game. We play it for each other. We share it for each other. We have, superstars on our team, but they play the right way and they play for each other. And I think that's what makes us tough to beat.
Caitlin Urka, ESPN. It seems like both the men and women's programs came on a little bit of the same trajectory, right? A lot of the people maybe counted both programs out early on, overlooked you guys. I'm curious what conversations, if any, you've had with Dusty May and how you guys have maybe leaned on each other or given each other advice throughout the season and now to this point where you're both in the tournament.
Yeah, I think it's Dusty. I think it's his coaching staff. I think it's the players in his program. I mean, their team and our team are really close. And, I remember walking into the gym after a tough loss at our place against Michigan State And like Namari was at the door, and he's like, "That's all right, coach. Like, you're gonna learn from this. Tomorrow's the bounce back." I mean, you know, that's a young man who's worried about his own team and his own career, is like at our games and following our games. And you know, you can go down the line, you look up at our games, and their team is there. But just to watch their transformation, I'm so happy for those guys. And there were a lot of them that, you know, wavered and thought about leaving. And the ones that stayed to watch them have the season that they're having. I mean, we shifted our practice time on Sunday to watch. Oh, don't tell our administrator. We're not supposed to do that. Just a little bit. Just shifted it a little bit so we could be able to watch their championship game. So, you know, the next day Dusty came walking in, and it was just our staff left in the gym at practice, and we got up and just started clapping for him. And, you know, one of the things that he said, he goes, you know, it was during that game, no one cared about who got the shot, or no one cared about how many points did I score. It was one of the times where the team just truly cared about winning the game. And I think when you get to this point in the year, that's what it's got to be about. And for our team to watch them, you know, accomplish what they've been able to accomplish has really been special. And we share a building. It's just the two of us and our teams. And I think we both support each other at a really high level.
Kurt Rello, Associated Press. Style has become part of the game narrative. Some coaches have amazing sneaker collections that they're rocking. Buzz Williams at A&M, Kim Mulkey at LSU have kind of a different approach. For you, do you mind sharing your thoughts? Is it a matter of importance or fun? Does it allow you to bond with your players? Just what goes into
Style.
the style? Yeah, thanks.
The kids are all about style. I have 3 children. You know, they're all about style. What's your fit? What are you wearing? Like, they want to make sure that you look good. And they try to tell me, you know, look good, coach. Look good, play good. Look good, play good. Me, personally, it's not really, I would say, my jam. But it's not, you know, it's not something that I get too caught up in. But our players love it. So, you know, I was able to break out. I got a gift a couple of weeks ago, and I was able to break out these shoes for the Big Ten tournament, and our team was going crazy. You know, I kind of prefer, I like since COVID hit and I don't have to wear my heels anymore. I used to care in my younger day. Now I just care about the basketball. I used to care about my fit a lot more. Yeah, I think for some people it kind of is what makes them, and that's their thing. You know, and I respect Mulkey. You know, she's, you know, one of the best in the game, and I have the ultimate respect for her, and we've had to play against each other a lot. So, you know, I always wonder when we're playing against her, like, okay, what's the wear going to be? And I know it's something that people think about. But for me, I try to do it a little bit for our players. You know, even in the locker room just now, they're like, come on, coach, put the hat on. They want to get a little selfie, and it's fun. And I think it's good to have some fun with it. But it's not, you know, but I'm not Kim Mulkey. I'm the other Kim.
Matt Park, Michigan Radio. Coach, I've been alongside you for 13 years. I go back to your first year and I think about the team that you inherited, and it wasn't exactly the style that you wanted to play, but that team was a smart team and they played a more deliberate pace. As I've watched you coach, you always adapt to your personnel. So when you got to this year and you had to go 5 guards, how did it take to make that decision to full go and then sort of commit to that? And how did you adapt to that as the year went on?
That's a great question, Matt. And this is for all our recruits listening, and for all the haters out there. You know, a lot of times in my coaching career, people said, you know, she's a post coach. She had Hallie Thelman, who scored 2,000 points. She had Naz Hillman, who was an All-American. Then a lot of times people have said she's a guard coach. She had Caitlin Flaherty, who's the all-time leading scorer. I think, you know, our program has always been to play to our strengths and to figure out what our strengths are and to try to play to our strengths. And this year, our strength is our guard play. And I've heard a lot of people say, you know, guards win in March. So I like that. Now we play through our guards. If we get a dominant post player, I'm going to feed the dominant post player the ball. I promise you that. But I think we're always a team that tries to figure out how to play through our strengths. And we've had mismatches all year long. The other team has always had a big post. And Greta has been phenomenal and Jordan has been phenomenal, saying, hey, we're going to try to do this and we're going to try to match up and we're going to try to do the best we can against someone that has a lot more size and post ability than we do. But then we want to make sure that we're putting them in position to be successful on the other end. So it's fun playing with 5 guards. 2 years ago, you would have never convinced me that we would do that. But I think as a coach, and this is, something that we've learned in this landscape more than anything else in college athletics, is that we better evolve and we better be willing to change. Because if you're not, the game is going to pass you by, the opportunities are going to pass you by. So this year, we've changed. We've changed what we've ever done. I've never done this, but someone always said 3s for 2s, so we're going with 3s for 2s. But I like it; it's fun, and I just want to give our team the best chance to be successful. And if that means those 5 are out there, then that's what we're going to roll with.
Okay, that's all the time we have for this one. Thank you so much, Kim Barnes-Rigo, for joining us.
Thank you.
And a reminder that Hammond Communications posts a recording of this press conference online to the NCAA Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com, and the transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you to everybody for joining us.